Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to my review for the 2010 Marvel sequel Iron Man 2. The film is once again directed by Jon Favreau and it stars Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Scarlett Johansson, Sam Rockwell, and Samuel L. Jackson. Now, following the huge success of Iron Man that came out a couple of years previously that started the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, everyone obviously was excited for the sequel, Iron Man 2, that came out in 2010. This time round, Tony Stark has got a bit of a problem in a sense of the solution that he got himself in the first film to save his life, the chess piece, is now slowly killing him, basically poisoning him, and he can't find the cure. He can't find anything to sort himself out. So he's slowly but surely dying, and he's slowly but surely coming to terms with that, and he's slowly and surely becoming more and more unhinged. Now, also at the same time, we have Mickey Rourke's character, Ivan Vanko, who is the son of a Russian engineer who used to work for Tony Stark's father years ago, who ended up getting deported back to Russia. So Ivan Danko has a real problem with Tony Stark and Stark Industries, and he wants to seek revenge. So he builds himself like a suit, a whiplash suit, using like arc technology, and he attacks Tony Stark at the Monaco Grand Prix. The world turns on Tony Stark then like vultures because the military wants to get their hands on the Iron Man, and everything is going against Tony. S.H.I.E.L.D. turn up to basically try and stabilise him so they can use him for the Avengers initiative, and Tony Stark then has to figure out A, how to stop himself from dying, and B, how to stop Ivan Vanko from unleashing an army of Iron Men upon the world. Right, what are my thoughts on Iron Man 2? Well, this is seen by many as, a substand. I don't know how to really word this, because for me, I've always enjoyed this film. I just want to get that out there straight away. Yes, there are moments in it that feel a little bit forced. It feels a little bit down, the whole Tony Stark thing, and they didn't really fully commit or establish the Whiplash character. I mean, it's such a fabulous introduction to the film, Mickey Rourke. They're setting up. You learn very quickly that he's obviously got an issue with Tony Stark and Stark Industries, and then his introduction at the Monaco Grand Prix it's just spectacular for me. Absolute the highlight of the film for me. I really enjoy that. And then Tony Stark putting on the suit in the suitcase, which is iconic, obviously, for Iron Man, just works. Everything about it just works. And then after that, we kind of get a lull. The next big chunk of the film is focusing on, if you like, the depression of Tony Stark. And it feels a little bit of a downer aspects of this film. A darker tone compared to the first one. I don't think it drags the film down, but I understand where some people are coming from in their argument that there's a lot of things that don't work in this film. I agree, there's some things that don't work in this film, but I don't think it makes it not an enjoyable film, or not a really, really exceptional sequel in many, many ways. I mean, how on earth were you going to follow up on Iron Man? I mean, that film was just a stunning origin film, in my opinion. And Jon Favreau had his absolute hands full with the higher-ups in Marvel while he was making this. They were constantly interfering, apparently, wanting him constantly to, expand on the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, because they were so desperate to set up this Marvel Cinematic Universe, which obviously paid off. but it really did affect Jon Favreau and the film he wanted to make, to the point where he turned down the opportunity to direct Iron Man 3. He'd basically had enough. You can't really blame him for that. But once we get to this part where, the Stark Expo at the end, and, the drones start attacking and it all starts kicking off, the film has a very, very strong finish, for sure. So I think it's a really, really nicely made sequel here. Obviously, we get to see War Machine here because we get Don Cheadle, who obviously was a replacement this time round from the first film, and I think an improvement. I don't think there was anything majorly wrong with Rhodey in the first film, the actor that played him, but I think Don Cheadle, is an absolute step up here, and he's got much better chemistry with Downey Jr. in this. And then we get to see the whole War Machine and, the fight between Rhodey and Downey Jr. at his birthday, which is pretty cool. And then we get to see War Machine make an appearance late into the film, which was excellent. And the new and improved Stark suit when he discovers the new element that essentially cures him. So we get a bombastic finish to the film. I think Sam Rockwell, came very, very close as Justin Hammer to stealing the film. I mean, he almost steals every film that he's in, Sam Rockwell, in my opinion. I think he is a staggeringly good actor. Drama, comedy, anything that you give the guy to do. I suspect if you gave him like a John Wick type action film, he'd nail that as well. He's just so bloody good, and he's just so amazing on screen. I think in this film, I wish they could have given him a little bit more screen time, and I wish they could have given him a better arc by the end of the film. It just kind of felt like, we're done with you now. Time for the big explosions at the end. Bye bye. And he was such a big part of the film. And the anticlimactic battle between Whiplash, Vanko, should I say, and Tony Stark and Rhodes at the end, War Machine and Iron Man. What a disappointment that was as well, really. For the most part, it was still enjoyable watching them take out the drones and the flight through the city, and the great scene now that has now become canon with him saving that little boy with the Iron Man mask. And I believe I'm right in saying that it's now canon that is Peter Parker as a young boy, which is why he's obviously got that huge connection to Iron Man in the later films. But I was really hoping for like a huge bombastic battle at the end between War Machine, Iron Man and Vanko. And you just didn't get it. It was over in no time, and it was a huge anticlimax. But I think as sequels go, I think it's an absolutely fine sequel. I think it is very well made. I think Jon Favreau had a huge, huge task to follow up on the brilliance of his first film. I think he did it. I think he delivered for the most part. Obviously, we get more on S.H.I.E.L.D. this time round. We see a little bit more of Nick Fury. We get the introduction, obviously, of Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. Gwyneth Paltrow gets, I suppose you could argue, an expanded role this time round. And we get the great end credit sequence where, they hint at and, Thor coming in the next film. So there's a lot here to enjoy, I think, for Iron Man 2. I personally think it's a really, really fabulous sequel, and I always enjoy watching it. It's a while since I've actually watched the Iron Man film, so I really enjoyed catching up and watching Iron Man and Iron Man 2 recently. I am very much looking forward to checking out Iron Man 3, which will be my next Marvel review. And then I'll probably maybe either move on to the Captain Americas or the Avengers films. I'm not really sure yet. I'm just enjoying revisiting some of these Marvel films that I haven't seen for years. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Iron Man 2, and I will of course be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.